As he collapsed onto the solid floor, the noise of the room fell silent in an instant. A typical Friday night, filled with intoxicated laughter and shouting, came to an abrupt stop. My friends and I, we were quick to react, rushing to check for a pulse, but to our shock, we couldn't find one. A desperate call for help went unheard, as people were too drunk to grasp the severity of the situation. After a few anxious minutes, he had luckily awoken from an unexpected blackout, but this had left me and the others shaken. I can definitely see the pressures you would feel to drink at parties, especially if you don't feel very confident when you're there. You feel like you need alcohol to boost your confidence. You become a person that you may not necessarily be, just to fit in. And it's not just due to the pressures from other people. It's due to the pressures of not feeling different. Many people drink at parties because it's acceptable in Denmark because people see it as normal, even to some extent as being cool. The media will tell you it's cool to drink and to be drunk, and when teens drink, they don't just drink a little bit. According to World Health Organization reports, Danish 15-year-olds are the biggest consumers of alcohol in the entirety of Europe. Between the ages of 15 and 19, roughly half of the boys and 15% of the girls engage in binge alcohol consumption. In a recent World Health Organization study from 2016, roughly 16% of the Danish teens between 15 and 19 that die so due to alcohol consumption. I'm 16, I want to party, I want to have fun, but I want to do so in a responsible manner. Today I would like to talk about alcohol consumption for the youth. I think it's a very big problem, and a lot of people tend to have problems with this. The Danish youth are also some of the biggest consumers of alcohol in the entire world. I've been to parties, I've seen how it is, and out from what I've seen, I don't think a bit of a change would be a bad thing. Being a part of the international school here in Odense, I get to see how teenagers from all across the world have different views on alcohol, and different cultures have different influences. I've developed a diverse view on how alcohol consumption among different nationalities have different influences on people. I find it intriguing, to delve into the dilemma of whether alcohol consumption for the youth ends up being beneficial or simply a blunder. Considering how most other nations, though, restrict alcohol consumption, we're essentially one of the few countries in the world allowing teenagers to drink legally at such young ages. I understand the joy and companionship that alcohol brings to our community. However, the apparent lack of restrictions and boundaries, it raises concerns. It paves the way for alcohol overdose, a scenario that is unhealthy for an individual of any age. Alcohol is not merely a beverage. It contains poison, and it is detrimental to our fragile bodies, especially when ingested in larger quantities. Granting immature individuals, including myself, unlimited access to a substance with such a profound impact on our bodies, it's simply too much. In the past, they've changed laws, but this doesn't seem to have done anything for the youth. People still put on a smile and go into a shop, and they can get as much alcohol as they'd ever want. The age limit is so young that people can't even control the effects of alcohol on their body. Even as a 15-year-old, you can access alcohols like vodka, whiskey, and rum through purchase at less regulated shops, like kiosks, where they don't ask for your ID. It's very easy to access alcohol in Denmark. The biggest problem, as I see it so far, is that people see it as normal. Parents accept alcohol drinking for teenagers as normal, because they can always see a bit of themselves in their kids. It was okay for them when they were younger, so why shouldn't it be okay for the kids, is what they all think. This is usually caused by parental sympathy, where parents having experienced similar experiences in their childhood are more likely to accept it as normal for their own kids. In Denmark, with its deep-rooted drinking culture, it is particularly prominent and shows no sign of diminishing in the near future. Surprisingly, parents are more accepting than ever, granting their teenagers the allowance to partake in alcohol-filled nights out without the surveillance of adults. Parents believe, that if they say no, the kids are still going to do it. This leniency from adults raises important questions about its severity. Parents believe, of course, if they say no, they're going to continue doing it. I was at a party a few months ago where people were so drunk they could barely move, some could barely walk. People ended up doing things they didn't necessarily want to be doing. My friend was at this party also. He was left alone in the street, and no one was there in the nearby area. He was drunk, lying on the street alone, and in the worst cases, this can cause death. But he was luckily found. But things could always have gone worse. If you see a teenager in the street in the middle of the night, all alone, and you're there, would you help them? Despite its drawbacks, alcohol undeniably serves as a mean to bring people together, strengthening bonds and facilitating formations of new friendships. It clearly stands as a social tool that brings us all together. However, I do believe my perspective is worth sharing. I want to highlight the issue and raise awareness about its increasing severity. I think it's a big problem, and I hope not just to influence the youth, but also the parents and adults watching this. So we together can reframe our culture so we can have fun, party together without exposing our teenagers to the pressures of drinking. I'm 16, I want to party, I want to have fun, but I want to do so in a responsible manner. Thank you.